Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mic rolls on a Wednesday morning. Picture perfect outside. Feels like football weather. We've got a big night tonight. Minnesota High School wrapping up their regular season. North Dakota, for the big schools, have a week or two left in their regular seasons, but the postseason is already here for North Dakota 9, man. That's because they start playing on August 2nd. But opening round of the postseason begins on Saturday. Little different format change, as we talked about yesterday. The top 8 seeds have buys to the next round. It's similar to what the FCS playoffs used to be like, where the top 8 getting buys. 16 teams play this weekend. One of them, the Hankinson Pirates, as they'll have a matchup with Maple River, a team they just saw a couple of weeks ago. Our pleasure. Welcome back to the show. Our friend Jason Monilaws, head coach of the Hankinson Pirates, joins us on this Wednesday morning. The old football coach in you just saw this team a couple weeks ago. Is that a good thing, bad thing, no thing?
Well, I would call it a good thing because you played them and you know what they're going to do, both offensively and defensively. So it in that aspect, it's I don't have to sit down. The coaches don't have to sit down and spend, like this past weekend, we didn't have to spend 5-6 hours going through film and trying to figure out how we're going to do this or that. We already had that done, so we just pulled out the sheet from last 2 weeks back, and we're ready to go.
And it helps you won the game, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got that confidence factor.
What about this? We just had Scott Stringy on yesterday. It's always a classic with Wyndmere. Knowing what was at stake, how did you handle that with the guys when you went back to practice, especially how the game played out as well?
Well, we really talked a lot about the matchup, because obviously they wanted the 2 seed, we wanted the 2 seed to have that home game.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're gonna end up playing a 1, depending on how far you go through it, anyways. But shucks, if you win your first round now, you're going to be stuck with a 1 seed, and we really, really wanted to have that 2 seed for that reason.
Yeah.
Now, hindsight, I also told the kids that whatever happens with the game, we're still in the playoff, and you have to understand that we are still going to be playing next week, and focus. We had to kind of change our focus a little bit after that, and so we were yesterday in practice. It was kind of a film session and a little bit of stuff we did outside, and I spoke to him again about the importance of doing your job and trying to get rid of that emotional drain that comes from playing Wyndmere-Lidgewood every year.
Yeah.
Both these communities down here are very invested in this rivalry, and I've been down here now at 26 years, 27 years, and I've been a part of a lot of them. Not all of them, because when I first got here, they were playing 11 man.
Yep, that's right.
So, but it's a big thing, and when you lose that game, it's like a gut punch and someone walked into your house and shot your dog and everything else. And you got to try and get over that. And so that was our big talk yesterday about that.
The fact that you are still playing, it's this time of year. There's a lot of teams. I was talking with Scott about this yesterday. The guys that have already packed up and done. I mean, you got to be jazzed about that and talking to the guys like, okay, here it is. It's 1 week seasons from here on out.
Hey, I'm damn proud of these kids. I told them yesterday that they've exceeded my expectations, because coming into this season, I really didn't know what we were going to have. We graduated a pretty good group of seniors last year, that was a playoff team and stuff, and I thought maybe we can get in at that 3 seed, and I thought, well, it's going to come down to the Sargent County game or that spot, and it kind of played out that way and so forth. But I want to make a point here, Dom, quick, about the playoffs. Okay, so there's 24 teams in the playoffs.
Yep.
Okay, 6 of the teams in the playoffs this year do not have co-op, and we're one of them.
Wow.
Yeah. Think about that.
Yeah.
So we're here. We're dressing 16 kids right now.
That was my next question. Like, what do you have numbers wise? That's amazing.
We started with 18, and we have some injuries and stuff, and so we dressed 16 last Friday.
Wow.
So it's the kids,
Yeah.
these boys, and I talked about that too, about how, smaller schools and smaller classes, how there's such a crossover. You can't compete or put athletic teams together without having maybe a freshman playing, maybe two sophomores, a handful of juniors, a handful of seniors. So it's the only way it works.
Are you
So
there? Yeah. Are you at that level right now with what you're addressing?
more or less,
Yeah.
yes, we are.
Has that made this year more gratifying? That maybe you exceeded your own expectations and what you've done?
Oh, heck yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, and to do it in the way we've done it against the other teams, the closest game we had all season, if you look at the scores, was last Friday.
Yeah.
Really, that was our closest game. I know that we ran into Lemoore and they pretty much destroyed us like they've destroyed everybody else. But otherwise, our games we've had a sizable lead, and I never in my mind expected that.
What is the reason for that? Tell me why. Outside of outstanding coaching, what has been the reason why you guys have had the kind of success you've had?
Well, here's the number one thing I've been telling people about this in the local press down here and so forth. I firmly believe that the summer workout program that we started this last summer, Hayden Bowl, who was a former graduate and played at MSUM,
Yep.
he's on our staff, and he put together a workout program. And we had, of our 18 kids, we had 17 of them in all summer working out. And when we started practice, we have 4-hour practices for 5 days in the fall, in the morning. And after the first practice, we, as coaches, said, these kids are in shape. We don't have to drill them. We don't have to push them. They're already ready. And we saw that. And the physicality, I'll use Rayshawn Earl as an example. This couple weeks back, he set our squat record at the school that had been up there for many years. He's squatting 395 pounds. Last year, not even close. So the development of those kids really, really helped. The other part is just how tight a group these kids are. We don't have a co-op. So they're with each other all day in the school and moving around and doing all these other things. So I really believe that's a big part of our success too.
Now that you got what you're facing, we mentioned with Maple River that they scored 80 in a game earlier. You got to know, obviously, with their offensive weapons, what really stands out for you on Saturday to win this game?
Well, they've got three playmakers, really. T-Sealing, the Bosch kid, and the Dow's kid. Those are their playmakers. And Bosch has been kind of tied up with a bad ankle. And I know he's had hamstring issues and so forth. And he re-injured it last week again and wasn't able to play the entire game. So that adds a dynamic there where you got speed on the outside with Carter, but then you've got the animal in the middle with the ball all the time in T-Sealing.
Yes.
This guy's a dude.
He's really good.
He's a huge kid. And at different times when we played him two weeks ago, we look like idiots trying to tackle him. Because if he's got a cutback lane and we don't have that filled, he's gone. So I talked about that yesterday and the importance of these cutback lanes. We got to shut them down, and we have to have, when we have first contact, we have to wrap up, and we didn't do a good job of that. T's a phenomenal football player.
Another Division I football player, probably in 9-man football in North Dakota.
Yeah, he's something else.
I don't want to get you too much in trouble, but the new playoff format, what do you make of that and going forward with this and how it looks?
As far as for next year?
Well, just as it's set up for this year in terms of how they expanded it. Are you a fan of the top eight getting buys? How do you make, or I guess you and your colleagues, of how they decided to go about it this year?
Well, I don't mind that. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that we're playing, our non-region players again for the second time.
Yeah.
If they would have put us into bigger regions, it would have been a different story. And I wish they would have done that, because for better or for worse, you played one team once. Why do you need to play them second time?
Yeah.
It's the playoffs. You should have a new opponent.
It's a state playoff, too. I mean, I know travel in 9-man is what it is, but I would like to see you guys go and travel a little bit, maybe.
I have no problem with travel.
Yeah.
Last year, our first round game was up to New Rockford. Okay. So I don't buy the travel reason for anything in football.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's regular season or postseason. Regular season, you're playing 9-man. We're playing one night on a Friday. Come on. Travel, who cares? Who cares if you get home at 1:00 on a Friday night? It's just dumb.
Some of your colleagues out west would echo that. They get home later than that.
Absolutely.
With some of the ones.
Has to do. He has to drive across the surface of the moon to get anywhere.
He'd remind us of that as well, because I know he will.
Yes,
he would tell us about that. I'd be remiss before I let you go. When's the last time you spoke with the big redhead? He's got a big one. He's going to be on national TV again on Monday night.
Well, I really haven't physically talked to him, as far as on the phone. But no, I've kind of left him alone a little bit. Last year, I was texting him a little bit after games and so forth, and I'm just kind of letting him do his own thing right now. He's having a heck of a season.
Yes.
His run blocking score is pretty high right now and stuff, and so I know that was one of the things they really wanted him to work on was his run blocking.
He's and every Monday I'm seeing a different pancake video out there of him, which is crazy.
Absolutely, yeah, it's good. I mean, he's developing well, and I think his future is going to be very bright.
Now, how many people from Hankinson have requested tickets for a couple weeks at Kansas City? That is that a have you heard on that one?
No, but I've been asked 2 or 3 times if I'm going down to the game.
And
no, I can't do it. No, it can't happen this year. It's just not in the books. So we won't be going to watch him on any of his games.
Well,
other than on.
And that one though, next to Green Bay and Minnesota, that's the closest one. I can imagine there's going to be some people there though in a couple weeks.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's people going down. There's no doubt about that.
He came back when he was here this summer. We had a chance to visit before the camp, and I'm interested for you were also part of that of getting going and how big this can be in the future, Jay. How big do you think this can go as an annual deal down there?
Well, after everybody left, I was visiting with Todd and gosh, I can't remember her name right now, and talked about maybe moving this to like a 2-day camp. Having a younger group and an older group, kind of something similar to what Cordell does, I guess. I think his is a 2-day camp. But that was something that we discussed is possibly moving into a 2-day camp.
Wow.
So forth, which would be great, because there's older kids that would like to get in on that as well.
No doubt. It's great to see you, man. Thanks so much for the time. Safe travels and good luck this weekend. Okay.
You bet. I appreciate it, Dom.
Jason Monilaws joining us, Hankinson head football coach. Pirates will take on Maple River, opening round of the North Dakota 9-man postseason. That begins on Saturday across the state of North Dakota. First round here we'll trim the field from 24 down to 16 for the games in 2 weeks. We'll take a break. We come back. We'll wrap up hour one. Big second hour on tap, including a look ahead at the Dakota Marker game with Tyler Merriam. We roll on this Wednesday. We're back after this.